Hi all, this is Shikha from Technical Cloud Knowledge and I greet you from our world and I hope you all are doing great. So I'm back with another lecture on Linux and today we will going to discuss how to recover Linux panic error in lecture number 25. So for that you need to watch my video until the very end in order to avoid missing any vital information regarding this topic. As this topic is very important and today I'm going to cover this topic in very depth. So for that you need to watch the video at the end. Okay. So let's begin as without further any ado. So let's understand what do I mean by the Linux panic error. What does this mean? This word panic error. I think by hearing this word, the term itself making you more panic. But if you do have the knowledge regarding Linux and regarding this topic, you may be calm. Am I right? So right now, as you can see, I am calm because I know the information and I know what kind of the resolution would be done regarding this topic. But mostly people who has been starting their career in Linux, they feel sometimes panic because of this topic. So you don't need to be feel panic. As you know, I'm going to tell you regarding this topic and I'm going to tell you how you can recover it. I also seen most of the time that mostly people, what does they do for they opt for the easy solution. What does they do? Basically they will just regenerate their snapshot if they face such kind of issue in their career. Mostly Linux administrator too face such kind of issue in their career. So for that, what happens? Most of the people regenerate their snapshot or just copy that like file or the whatever the issue is facing. They will just do the simply methods, but this is not the correct option. We need to know each and everything in depth, and we need to know how we can recover it. So today we will going to recover our Linux panic error if we face anything like that. If you do remember on your system as well, on our Windows too, we face a BSOD something. Like what does I mean by BSOD? Basically blue screen of death. We find something blue is showing in front of our system, or we can say in front of us on our Windows. So this type of error we also face and we do resolve it. So that's how in Linux we face Linux panic error and we can resolve it by following some commands. Okay, so today we will going to cover this only. So for that we need to move with a terminal first. Let's open the VMware workstation. Okay, and here you need to open your terminal. First log in with the root. Try to be more advanced, so for that we will going to enter the command. Okay, now you are coming into the next advanced levels of Linux, so that's why you need to open with this by the command only. Okay, let's maximize it. Okay, so first, for the better understanding regarding the topic, we need to move under a directory called boot. Okay, by using the cd command, which is change directory. Now let's check the content under this directory by executing the ls command. As we can see, all these the content is available, all other content is available under boot directory. Okay, so today we will going to I can say like today we're going to work on these things like init.mfs files. We are going to work on these files as well as we are going to work over these files too. So today we will going to cover all 5 things today only. Okay, so basically what happens, what do we mean by all these things? Let me tell you that all these are referring for the files. As we all know, in white color, whatever in white color, it refers for the file. Similarly, in these 2 files, which is in light green color, they are also the files. Okay, as I already tell you that we can custom the changes as well. We can custom the color as well of that specific file. So that's why it is in green color and it is by default. Okay, so let's understand first what are these refers, what are VM Linux files are referring. Basically, as we all know, if you do remember that when you log in your terminal or when you access the terminal, you will get 2 kind of terminals, or you will get 2 kind of kernels. First one is your primary kernel, which is your main kernel. Whatever the version you have installed on your Linux, on your VM, it will first appear in front of you the main kernel. After that you will get a rescue kernel. What does this rescue kernel mean? Basically, your main kernel will be boot up by this file VM Linux and the version of the main kernel. Okay, so this file is being attached to the main kernel, and this one which is here refer for the rescue, this file is connected with the rescue kernel. Basically what happens, suppose in a future or maybe in some time you will face Linux panic error. If you face a Linux panic error on your screen, or if or you are not able to boot up your machine by the first kernel or the main kernel, then you will opt for the rescue kernel, which we also say alternate kernel or alternate option for booting up your machine. So that's how it happens. If we are not able to boot up our machine with our main kernel, then we will opt for the rescue kernel. That's why the rescue kernel is being here in our machine, or we can say in our system. Okay, so this is the main work of these two files, VM Linux. Okay, now let's move on to these files, which is referring for the init ramfs files. What are these files are referring? So if I talk about these files, basically what happens, init ramfs files, as the name suggests, it could be say as that initial RAM files. Okay, so what happened, these files are used for picking up the drivers and modules. Like these files have restored, they have stored the RAMs and drivers and modules, and they will load these drivers and modules into the RAM folder. Basically what happens, this one is the main kernel file, VM Linux. These file will work when it will pick up drivers and modules from some specific file. And these files which have drivers and modules are init.ramfs files. So this is the main work of init.ramfs files. They will provide the drivers and modules for the main kernel so that they will initialize the hardware and your system will get boot up. So this one, the main kernel file is attached with this file, this one. As you can see, init.ramfs after the version is and the extension. So this one is the second one of init.ramfs file is connected with that main kernel. Okay, now what is the use of these files? What I'm talking about regarding the drivers and modules. Basically what happens, if I talk about the drivers and modules separately, the drivers are referring for, as we all know, that in our a laptop or in our device, any of the device, like it would be laptop, desktop, mobile phone, each and everything, we all know that there is not a single equipment, there are multiple equipments, and we all know for the multiple equipments we need multiple small softwares. Am I right? So those multiple small softwares are referred for modules, and the things, the tools which help them all of the components to work properly, to run properly, are drivers. So basically the modules are like small software which will be available under init.ramfs files. Okay, and the drivers are such kind of tools which help them these components to run. So when they both are work together, then our hardware will be initialized and your machine will get boot up. So basically this file, the VM Linux file, main work is that they will pick up the drivers and modules from the init.ramfs files to load into RAM, and then they will boot up the machine. So these all are connected with each other somewhere, like they have made a chain, and from which a cycle will be appear, like a cycle will be run from, as we all know, our machine will get boot up when the VM Linux file will pick up the drivers and modules from init.ramfs files, and your hardware will initialize, then your system will boot up. So all these are work together to work properly. Okay, so this is the main use of init.ramfs files. They are such kind of you can even say like the init.ramfs files are like small disk image. It is a kind of a disk image of your kernel, main kernel. Okay, now as we all able to get to know what are drivers and modules, why we need to pick up drivers and modules to load into RAM, and after that hardware will get initialized and boot up. If suppose if there is no init.ramfs file, there is nothing like init.ramfs file will be available under our system, then our system will not get boot up. So it is very necessary, they all play a vital role in booting up our machine. Okay, so this one is used for the main kernel, the second one. And if I talk about the first one, the rescue, as we are, I think you all get an idea regarding rescue file, init.ramfs file of rescue. The rescue kernel will connected with this file. They will pick up their drivers and modules from the above rescue init.ramfs file. So this is the main use of init.ramfs files as well as VM Linux file. Okay. So as we are able to get to know that they all are connected with each other. Now let's talk about uh, basically what happens. Let's come to, let's open this. If we open the init ramfs file, we are able to get know that how much content is available under this, like how the programming is being done under this file. Wait, as you can see, okay, so all these are programming, all are the codes has been done. So there are also some drivers and modules. As we are not able to understand this much, this will not come under our topic right now, so that's, I'm just providing with the overview how we can check it and what are the content available under this file. Okay, let's come back to our screen. Okay, so I think you are able to know what are init ramfs file, what are VM liners file, and all these together, and how our machine will get boot up. In the interview, in your interviewer would ask a question from you that from where does the kernel will pick up drivers and modules to load into the RAM and boot up your machine. So you know that answer, like from init ramfs file, they will pick up the drivers and modules to load into RAM and then our system will get boot up. If they ask for the main kernel, you need to know that suppose they would ask from which kernel. Suppose my main kernel wants to boot up the machine, from where it will pick up the drivers and modules, from which file. So you need to answer that from the second number of init ramfs file, which in which the version of the main kernel has been there. So from this file it will pick up the drivers and modules to boot up the machine. Okay, and that's how you will able to know that about the rescue kernel as well. Okay, so this is what happens in the interview. They may ask these questions to you to confuse you. Okay, so you need to know the answer as well. Now we are clear with that much. Okay, now most of the, you also want to know regarding these files, as we are able to know regarding first and the second file of initramfs. The first one is a main kernel file, as well as the second is the rescue kernel file. Now what happens with this one? What are the third file referring for? So if I talk about the kdump file, basically this version of the kernel is not yet installed on my device and is not yet launched. So that's why there is no kernel available for kdump file. If it is installed on my device, so there is also a file of VM linus is there uh, of kdump file. Okay, so basically the main, I'm going to tell you, just I'm going to just give you an overview of kdump file. Why do we use this file and what are the main usage or the purpose of kdump file? Basically, if I talk about the kdump file, this file is being here, so it is used to tell you regarding the main kernel. Basically it will gather all the information, like whenever your kernel get boot up, what is the time of corruption of your kernel, and what does your in when your initramfs file has been deleted or removed or corrupted, like all the reason behind the corruption of the main kernel, it will provide you the information. So this is the main usage of kdump file. Right now it is not available, the version of this file is not available on our system, so that's why it is not here. We are not able to see the version of this file, but this is the main usage of kdump file, and we will cover this regarding this file in further lecture. Right now it is not need for you to that you able to know regarding this file, as I have already give you the overview. Okay, so I think you are clear with that file as well. What are the main usage of kdump file? So it will gather all the information of corruption of your main kernel. Okay, so I think you are clear with that much. Now our main thing which we are going to talk about today, so I will demonstrate you that how you can recover the initram fs file if it is corrupted. And when it is corrupted, you will not able to recover your, you will not able to boot up your machine. So basic usage of initram fs file is that it will provide the drivers and modules to pick up, so that the VM Linux file will pick up these drivers and modules, then your system will get boot up. But there is no init MFS file, then how your system will get boot up? So it will say that it is corrupted. Let's check it how we can do so. Basically in the industry, what happens, as you, if you are working on a Linux minute administrator and you are working on the panic error, then it is already been corrupted, the file has already been corrupted. But right now we need to do the lab, so we need to corrupt this file. For the corruption we are going to use the command rm-r, which is delete command, and the file which we want to delete, I want to delete this file for the main kernel, so I'm going to paste it here. So when you do ls, when you run execute the ls command, you will able to know. As we can see, the rescue file is available and the kdump file, but the main kernel file has been deleted. So that's how we will corrupt our file. Now, if we reboot our machine will not get boot up with the main kernel, as the file of init.ramfs has been deleted. It does not exist, so it will not able to pick up the drivers and modules, and that's why this is the main reason for not bootable. For our machine will not get boot up. Let's check it as well by rebooting our machine. Let's reboot. Okay. And right now you will also able to know regarding the two kernels. As you can see, there are two kernels available in front of us. As we can see, basically see this one CentOS stream, after that the version of the main kernel. This one is your main kernel from which we boot up our machine, and the second one is the rescue kernel. As you can see, if in the future if you may download more version of the kernel, it will appear in front of you and it will add in numbers. Okay, and the files of init.ramfs is also been added, as when you install the version of any kernel, it will also create its link as well, and which is your init.ramfs file, and it will store in the grub file. Right now you don't need to understand till much, but I'm just giving you the overview. Okay. So this happens. As we can see, there are two kernels. Right now we are going to boot up our machine with the first kernel, and this kernel will provide you the error. As you can see, the error is showing in front of you. As you can see, there is also written something that file init.ramfs and the version not found. It is showing that the init.ramfs file is not found. Why does it happen? Basically, we have deleted the file, we have corrupted the file, and that's why it is not able to pick up the drivers and modules from init.ramfs files, and our system is not getting booting up. So for that, we need to recover the init.ramfs file so that we can boot up our machine, because the main usage, this is the main thing, if there is no drivers and modules, our machine will not get boot up. So this is very important that you have drivers and modules. Okay, so first we need to power off our machine, and now we will going to opt for the rescue kernel. We will going to boot up our machine for with the rescue kernel. Okay, let's come to the rescue kernel. Now you will able to see that we are able to boot up our machine with the rescue kernel, because the reason behind of this booting up is that the file of init.ramfs is available, and the VM Linux file is able to pick up drivers and modules from the init.ramfs file, and that's why it is booting up. So as you will able to know, the connection, the chain is working. If the chain is break from somewhere, it will not do the work properly, as we all know. Okay, as you can see, the machine is booting up. Okay, basically there are many reasons for not booting up. In the interview may ask you some question regarding the booting up or the boot up, that why, what kind of the corruption, or like what would be the reason for the corruption, how we can recover the corruption if we face any corruption on our linux error. So what could be the reason behind it? So if I talk about the reason, there are many ways, there are many reasons behind the uh, corruption of the main kernel. Basically what happens, suppose if you patches CentOS 7 image, then it will corrupt your machine. Or if you like if your init.ramfs file does not exist, then you will show the kernel and panic error. And if your drivers and modules are not able to pick up by the init.ramfs file, then you will face the kernel panic error. And suppose if you do install buggy driver modules, buggy, like if there is an issue under the drivers and modules, then your system will not get boot up. So there are many reasons for the corruption. You don't have to know the exact reason. If you want to know the exact reason, we have a file called kdump. Okay, so there are many reasons, but we know today we will just going to talk about how we can recover it, the corruption. So let's understand this. Okay, but you do have an idea of each and everything. That's why I'm telling you regarding this lecture. Okay, let's open the VMware workstation. Just booting up. So our system is boot up. Now let's log in with the root user only and the password. Okay. Now we will going to open the terminal, alternate and F2, okay, and then write the command genome-terminal. So first let's come under the boot directory to check the content is our file is available or not. Boot ls. So as you can see, main kernel init MFS file is not available. Let's recover it. How we can do so? We need to execute a command called mkinit-rd. Okay, this command, after that you need to write whatever the file name, init ram fs and the version. Version was minus, as you can see, this is the version. Okay, this one is the version. You need to write it here. After that, the extension img, as we can see in the other files too, there is an extension img, and then again you need to write the version. But here you don't need to use the hyphen. You just need the version, this one, from 4 to 64. Okay. So when we run this command, sometimes what happens, we do face an error. Basically what happens, if our init MFS file is exist but just the drivers and modules is not available, it will not able to pick up the drivers and modules, but the file is exist, so it will not provide us the, or it will not recover the file. But I want to recover even if the file exists or not. I don't want to care regarding the file, I just want to recover it. So for that you need to use an option called --force. It will forcefully recover your file. --force here. And I want to see the process as well, like that how what kind of the process, it's how it will regenerating it. Just provide me the process as well. So here you need to use an option called -v. V for verbose, it will provide you the process how it is regenerating. So when you run this command, you will able to regenerate your or recover your file. As you can see, the file is recovering. Let's recover it. And after recovering, we can even boot up our machine with the main kernel, because now it will able to pick up drivers and modules from init.ramfs file. So I think you will able to know that how we can resolve the corruption if we face, like if our main file init.ramfs file is deleted or corrupted, how we can recover it. Okay, so this is the main issue. Then after, you don't need to reinstall, or you can reinstall your version or your kernel. You don't need to create any new VM or snapshot. Just you can recover it by executing the command. Okay, I will also write the command on my screen so that you will able to know what kind of command I have run. Okay, it will be easy for you. As you can see in the last, it has been written creating image file. Your disk image is being creating init RMFS file. Okay, so that's how the file is recovering, regenerating. There is another command for the recover. I will tell you that what kind of command you can even run for the recovery of the init RMFS file. So our file has been recovered. Now let's check under the content by executing ls command. As you can see, here is for the rescue kernel. The file is available for the rescue kernel. This one is a kdump file and the main kernel file is also being regenerated. Now if we reboot our machine and when we boot up with the main kernel, it will boot up because it will be able to find the init.mfs file. Okay. Now we are going to boot up with the first kernel as you can see. Okay. See, we don't get any error and the booting up, it is booting up. Okay, so that's how the main thing, that's how we can recover and that's how our machine will get booted up by the main kernel too. So I hope you will clear with that much. Okay, till then it is booting up. Let me write the command, what kind of command I have run for the recovery. The command is that mk init rd. Then you need to write -v for the verbose as well. Then -force for the forcefully regeneration and your init mfsl file with the version of the kernel dot extension img and again the kernel version of the kernel. Okay, so this is the command you need to execute. There is another command for the recovery. You can even run bracket -v -force instead of mk init rd. We are using bracket here just, and the other thing are same. Version of the kernel, then extension dot img. It should be without space dot img and then space and again the version. Okay, so that's how you need to execute. When you execute any of the command in both of them, your file will be regenerated. Let's open the VMware workstation and let's check as I machine is getting started or not. So we are able to boot up our machine with the main kernel also. Now let's log in the terminal with the root user only. Okay. Now we are going to open the terminal. So let's open the terminal. maximize it. Now let's come under the boot directory. Let's check the content. As you can see, the file is available. That's why it is booting up. Now if we again delete the file and let's regenerate by the bracket command too, so that you will be able to clear with the doubt too. That can we do that or not? So it will recover by the bracket command too, but I will going to explain it so that you will don't have a doubt. Just again run ls command. As you can see, the file has been deleted. Now we will going to recover it by the bracket command. You need to use the same command. Just write here bracket instead of mkinit rd. Just write here bracket. Let's come here and then write here bracket. Okay. When you run this, you will able to recover your file again. Okay. So as you can see, the file has been recovering. Now we will going to work on the command like suppose what happens if your init ramfs all files would be deleted. Now what you can do, how you can recover it? As we all know, if our main kernel file is deleted, we are able to boot up our machine with the rescue kernel, and thereafter we will able to recover our file. But what happens if our init ramfs all files would be deleted? We are not able to boot up our machine with the rescue kernel too. Now what can we do in such kind of situation? So in such kind of situation, you don't need to be panic. You don't need to feel stressed. You can do that as well by calm down. Basically, what happens at this type of situation, mostly what happens in the industry, they would take the backup in advance. They will download many version of the kernel. So if first kernel would get corrupted or the second would get corrupted, they can opt for the other kernels. Okay, in the industry that happens, but we will understand it by the DVD. When we are installing Linux, we are able to get the DVD as well. We are at that time we have browsed our CentOS ISO image. At that time we have attached an image with the file with the kernel too. Okay, so we will going to opt for that condition. We will going to use this method for the recovery of the init ramfs file. We will going to understand it. Till that you need to watch my entire video. Okay, let's first regenerate it, then we will going to understand how we can recover both of them. So the file has been recovered. Now let's run execute ls command. As you can see, the main kernel file has also been recovered. Okay, so this is the main thing. That's how we can recover our main kernel init ramfs file. Now suppose if our all files would get deleted of init ramfs rm-rf, and then let's corrupt all the files of init ramfs. When you do execute this command, it will remove all the files. Now let's check. Wait, sorry. So as we can see, there is no file for init ramfs file. Okay. So now in this type of situation, what we can do? So first let's reboot our machine so that we can check can our machine is bootable with the main kernel or with the rescue kernel. Now if it is not bootable with both of the kernel, then what we can do in such type of situation? Let's understand this. Let's, as you can see, when we boot up with our main kernel, it is showing the error as a file has been deleted. Now let's boot up with the rescue kernel too. First power off, then again power on, and now we will going to boot up with our second kernel, which is rescue kernel. Let's come here, run. As we can see, the init ramfs rescue file is also been deleted and it is not able to found. So we are able to see the error. Now in this type of situation, what we can do? So if you face such type of situation, if you face such type of issue, now at that kind of situation, you need to first attach your DVD with your kernel. How we can do so? Let's go under the first. Let's at wherever the version of the kernel has been written. Here you need to click the right click option and then you need to go under the settings. When you do come under the settings, it's again come here. So when you do come under the sentence, go into the CD DVD option and here you need to browse as it is already CentOS stream and again open. Wherever the location has been saved, here you need to browse it, your machine. Okay. When you do this, here sometimes what happens in the most of the case, what happens, there is only clicked at the connected power on, but we need to tick in the connected option too, so that we whatever the changes we are creating or whatever the changes we are making, it will also save that changes. If we do not click under the connected option, the changes will would be are creating, the file will would not be created, recover it. So for that we need to connect it, we need to click on the connected option too, so that whatever the changes we are making, it will also save time to time. And then you need to press OK button. When you do so, then you need to power off your machine again. Power off it. And now you need to come under the BIOS setting of this kernel. Come under the BIOS setting. For the BIOS setting, you need to come under power on to firmware. It is known as the BIOS setting. Okay. And then you need to do the troubleshooting. Come under boot directory. And wherever the renewable devices is shown, here you need to come down CD-ROM drive and you need to press this. You need to come this option at the very top. For that, you need to press shift with plus option. When you do this, you will able to make the CD-ROM drive at the very top and then exit with same changes. Now what we will going to do, we will going to do the troubleshooting. Click come under the troubleshooting option and then again rescue a CentOS stream system. And when you click on this option, here you will going to find such kind of interface where everything is regenerating or recovering. Till then it is showing. It will take some time, so you need to be calm down. So you will get such kind of interface. Everything is regenerating. Okay. Now let created them. Let's doing that. It is rebooting your machine and recovering. After that, you will get an option called for press 1 to continue. Okay, there is would be some option 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever would be written and under this option. Then you need to press 1 to continue. Okay, I'm going to show you that as well. As you can see, it will be persistent storage under 1 minute 30 seconds. Let's wait for some time. Just few seconds more. So as you can see, there are some options. First one is for continue, press 1, then read only mount, and then script to shell. We need to press 1 to continue. Write 1 and then it will continue the process. Here you will get some command to execute, and the command you need to write the exact same command after sss dot option. Okay. As you can see here, we are getting some command called chroot and mnt sysroot. Here we need to write this. Press enter. As you can see, it is showing. Press enter, and here you need to write the same command, whatever it's showing above. /mnt /sysroot. Let's check it. Okay. Now here I want to regenerate my all init remfs file. So here we need to write an command. We need to execute a command called. First we need to write init remfs regenerate all and then force. I want forcefully regenerate all of them. Wait. Here you need to write bracket regenerate all force. By mistake I've written init remfs. Okay, when you do run this command, you need to write exit and again exit. So it is shown. So it is recovering all the files. Just now you want to power off whatever the second you have, whatever the changes you have made. You need to do your machine in the previous situation. Come under this BIOS setting. Okay, and then here you need to come under boot option, and whatever the changes was before, you need to do the same. Here you need to boot up your machine with hard drive. Okay, just make that at the very top. Okay, exit save changes. Okay, now we will boot up our machine with the first kernel only. Till the time it will booting up, till the time it is booting up. Let's boot up. Make it. Now you will get such kind of interface. Here you need to log in with the root user. Okay, and then whatever with the password you have decided. Sorry. So let's open the VMware workstation. Right. So now let's come to the boot directory and then check the content. As we are able to get to know all, we have recovered two init.mfs file for the kdump as well as for the main kernel. Now we have to recover the rescue file too, so that we can opt for the rescue kernel if our main kernel get corrupted some. So for that we need to run the same command drucut, and after that you need to write -v for the verbose -force, so that forcefully recover it, and then you need to write the file name init ram fs, and the version would be -0 rescue. This one is that, from this to this, okay, till 71. And then you need to write -c22. And after that you need to write extension called .img, and then here you need to write again the version, but not the rescue version. Here you need to write the version of the main kernel. Okay, the main kernel version was 4.18.0 448. This one is the fourth version of the kernel, that's why here it is referring for the fourth. Okay, if you download fifth version, it will refer for fifth. And that's it. Now it will recover the rescue file too. So this is the lecture. I hope you will find this lecture helpful, and if you want to know more updates on Linux, then stay tuned with Technical Cloud Knowledge as well as with me for more updates on Linux. And that's it for today. So let's see that before going to, let's check it, is our file recovered or not. Okay. So now let's check the content. What are the content available? Is our file recovered or not? So as we are able to get all the three files as well as the VM Linux file. So that's how we can recover Linux init remfs files. So that's it for today and thanks for watching. Wait.